What's good, homie?
What's up? What's up?
Thank you so much for being the first guest for what I'm tentatively calling Rev2 review. Um, I'll probably think of a better name, but until then, I feel like Rev2 review is good enough for describing what we're doing, which is basically talking about this game, how to get better at it, and doing some replay review. I figured you'd be an awesome guest because I feel like you are as good, if not maybe better, at talking about this game than playing. Right? Obviously, you're really good at playing, but like I've been consistent. Yes, I'm glad you appreciate the backhanded compliment. Um, I'm always impressed by your commentary because you manage to pretty consistently cover. I'd say fairly accurate calls as to what the players are doing, what they're thinking about, with a whole bunch of different matchups. And that's not easy. That belies a deeper understanding of the game than I think a lot of people at higher levels of ability than us, frankly, have. So I thought you'd be dope for this. And also, your Venom is a cheap ass motherfucking piece of shit. And I figured that without many Venoms in the mix these days, it would be good to kick this off with a character that a lot of people don't know that much about. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this lobby real quick. Oh, and I'm going to put on some chill jams for all of y'all in the stream. We're going to go ahead and bump that jazz playlist that gets me demonetized, but it's okay because that's not what the stream's about.
Damn. Now the pressure's on. The expectations have been set high.
The expectations weren't high enough. I've been calling you NorCal's #1 best Venom since basically since I met you. Oh shit! Hold up, I gotta reboot the game.
It's true, huh?
I've been jacking up those expectations since basically day 2. Day 1, you were some random Venom player that I narrowly beat in a bracket, and then after that,
no, I got destroyed. You don't remember this correctly. I was like, damn, I don't know how to fight Chip at all.
But yeah, I will say. At the beginning, I gassed you up by calling you NorCal #1 best Venom. And as you point out almost every time, you were the only Venom in NorCal. So it means about as much as I let it mean. But you've gotten really good over the last couple of years. I don't know, you just keep on playing. I feel like you're not even playing that much these days, but it doesn't matter. So I'm super glad we could get you. All right. Let's see.
I was playing more pre-pandemic,
I know.
Unfortunately.
I saw you playing KOF 98 just now. How's the rollback on that?
It's pretty solid. There's a few hiccups, but it's been pretty good so far.
And
what I expect from Code Mystics, I'm sure they're refining it a little bit more too.
And is 98 your go-to KOF or?
I don't really have a strong preference because I started playing seriously with 13, but
Gotcha.
I think at this point I enjoy both O2UM and 98 more, but
right.
I don't play them enough to say.
Hey, Nomad Noah, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate it. All right, so I don't know if you have any introduction you wanted to open with, but what I'd like to ask is just for the budding Venom players in the audience, right? 3 things that you think they should be doing more of.
Okay. Yeah, I have notes.
Sick.
So.
Yeah, I like to break it up as things you should do as Venom and things that you should do against Venom, just to make sure that everyone gets something out of this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I'll stick with Chip for now, unless you need me to pick Venom for anything.
Nah, so for now. So there's a couple of things. I was trying to think about what are kind of useful tips. So I think I'll start with a few more concrete things and something more
yeah, sounds
I
good.
guess not as obvious. So the first thing, and this is very apparent. If you look at my playstyle, is that I think all Venom players should learn K-Ball Oki.
Okay.
You might not rely on it as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
I probably crunch on it too much, but it is a pretty good setup. You can get it off basically any you can get off almost any 2D knockdown or 6H knockdown.
Okay.
Most of your combos will end that way.
Cool.
And you can always get a high-low mix. So even if you do you can modify the basic K-Ball to get different for different distances. For example, if you're here right at this distance and I get a 2D knockdown, oops, whoops.
Yeah, Chip.
You basically do running jump kick to do the basic one, and then you can either go low air dash stuff or land low. But for example, if I do something like this instead, you can run super jump. Yeah. Well, I did a little bit too early there because it's a Chip, but. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just believe me.
I also find that when I'm demoing this stuff in front of a live studio audience, I drop it like 80% of the time.
All right, let me just show it for real.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, Chip has a weird hurt box. Oh no, this is a weird distance. Well, this one's weird.
That works.
But the main point is that, so that one you don't do super jump. So it is somewhat distance dependent, and that's probably some of the difficulty in it.
Yeah.
But it is a very versatile. So like, yeah, depending on what sort of knockdown, you can usually make it blitz safe. There's like a bunch of variants. Blitz safe. There's some that are like some reversal and DP safe. So like, try to like DP this one.
Oh shit! All right, we're trying now.
Oops.
Oh.
Not if I mess it up like that.
I messed it up too. Oh!
Lord.
I got a reversal
Looking
something.
bad.
But...
That was in the right setup.
Oh.
Oh no.
I tried. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one is not actually a safe jump, but the
Yeah.
thing is, a lot of like DPs or reversals that move forward, Venom will just clear them.
Got it.
And it is also like blitz safe.
I
So
see.
like, and you can still run your high-low mix. I didn't show it there, but you could do the low air dash.
Okay.
You do the 2K. So it's a really strong tool. Like, I think as you get better with Venom, you should mix in more setups. And I'm trying to like, I keep telling myself to do that as well. But it's like such a strong tool, and like I think no matter what level of Venom player you are, you will use it sometimes because it is very very strong.
Interesting. So yeah, I guess the K-ball Oki stuff. I remember after playing you a couple times, I was like, oh, I better learn something about this Venom, and I like realized. I think I asked you what the setups were, but I realized it's like, oh, these setups actually aren't that hard. It feels like it to me. It's like the kind of the equivalent of like chip FDC stuff, right? Where it's just like it's a solid option. You get a lot of like. It's not the most complicated thing, but it's pretty easy to set up, and it gives you a lot of potential outcomes that the opponent has to deal with, right?
Yes.
Why are you trying to wean yourself off of it?
So not necessarily wean myself off of it, but mix up other things because there are some downsides sometimes. So
I see.
If people know the counterplay, then it can become RPS. So like the blitz safe ones, there's options like you tap blitz and you throw them because usually you do land low to beat it. And then if they do that, you go low air dash, but then they can hold blitz, so then it becomes RPS.
I see.
Another thing is that it tends to cross up. So there's a lot of times where like if I do it, I would put myself in corner. So a lot of those times I might do something like this instead. Just go for like the pressure option where I push them because I don't want to put myself in corner. There's times where it's like this is not the right decision. And also there's times actually this will show up in one of the clips where you don't actually want to go in. Like if I have like a big life advantage and they have a like low life, I'd rather zone. Like I don't need to like do this.
Yeah.
Or I'd rather do maybe a pressure string where like my pressure doesn't end necessarily. So like K-ball, there are some good strings you can do where you keep your pressure, but you can basically give up the mix-up to try to do more pressure extension type setups. And like if they're low on health, that's probably more useful.
Okay. I like how your first reasoning for doing it less is like, oh, it's because people can beat it. Yeah, I'm not trying to do Oki that lets people beat it. You know, I'd rather just not do that.
I would like to like minimize variables I have to deal with, right? Like if I don't have to worry about reversals or like blitz and stuff, like then I'll do it.
Yeah. No, and trust me, I get it. This is actually seriously meant for people who are watching this, like to learn, right? If you can do something to which your opponent just has to hold that shit, you should probably do that thing. You probably shouldn't give your opponent a chance to play the game if you don't have to, right? And especially, I like what you're saying about life, right? Because a lot of newer players won't necessarily look at like what's going on screen and let that change their decision process, right? But if you have to make up a big life lead, right, because you're super far behind, then maybe you want to be looking for stuff that's gives you a bigger payout, for example, right? Or maybe you want to play it super conservative and not do anything that might cause you a chance to lose. Either of those are viable, but you should be making decisions with that in mind. That's awesome, man. All right.
Yep. Yeah. There's also like a third reason, which is like the general thing of like if you represent more setups, then that's more things you have to consider, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like stack overlaying stuff, right? Because like if they like there's people I play that I'm sure have realized. Basically, everyone who's played me long enough have realized I'm just gonna do K-Walkie most of the time. And like those people are ready. Like there's a couple people who are ready to like just do the tap blitz throw answer. So like Demendo does all the time. Angry Black used to do all the time. That's why I was doing it a lot at the last Calibers. So like it's a really good answer. But the thing is, if I'm mixing up setups, then they might be more hesitant to go
Right.
for that answer because they're not sure it's gonna be that setup.
Yeah. It's like when you knock someone down, if they're ready to be like, all right, here we go again, they're gonna have all those options on deck, right? And
Right.
if you're mixing it up more, then maybe they're ready to do it and you don't do it. Well, fuck, then they weren't ready for whatever it is you do next.
Right. And even if like they don't necessarily get hit, that sort of like hesitation is like good down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might be like, oh, like I don't know if he's gonna do this, so maybe I won't go for the blitz. Maybe I'll just try to block it out.
Makes sense. All right. Sorry. Quick audio check for the folks in chat. Is the music? Are we good on the balance? I'm gonna turn down the music just a little bit, just in case. These jazz jams are coming through a little bit harder than I expected. There we go. All right. What's next? What's on your mind?
So the second thing is something that I've been working on too, which is you should definitely confirm your 6P counter hits.
Okay.
So I think like the beginning
start
Venom
matching.
thing is you just dial in 6P 6H. I mean, this is more for anti-airs, right?
Okay.
So 6P 6H, you can tech forward basically. If
Yeah.
you don't counter hit, like you can tech forward. Like you don't have to get hit by the 6H.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's very dangerous because if the opponent is ready and they know, they can tech forward and they'll actually tech through the 6H.
Oh, wow.
Because it's kind of a dead zone area, or like you'll invuln through and you'll just be in Venom's face. So it's really dangerous. I will do it sometimes against people if I notice that they're not teching.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in general, it's not the greatest practice to do that. There's like many options of 6P, right? Because on its own, like 6P close slash, very good, but it depends on distance. And like converting to a knockdown can be hard, like unless you want to do something simple like this. Oops. I mean, it's height dependent too.
yeah.
So like that, you can get a knockdown.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you have to be careful too, because that's really height dependent as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for example, if you jump, like one thing I've seen some newer Venom players do is like, they'll just go this, because this will knock down basically as long as you don't hit them at the apex of their jump or higher, like a single jump.
Okay.
So you'll get a knockdown. But the problem is if you counter hit them, the reward is not very good.
Right.
And like basically you're leaving like, there's two things, right? The damage isn't good, and this kind of knockdown
Yeah.
is like,
That's
oh,
nothing.
sorry,
Yeah.
man.
You can't.
Yeah, you can do Oki, but it's not great. So like,
Yeah.
try jump again. So you can do stuff like this. Oops, well I missed it, but like basically like that. So you'll like, you kind of get like a, oops, like that.
Right.
Where like, yeah, it's basically like it'll lock them down. They can't really do anything, but it's harder to run mix. Like there's
Right.
better options you can do. So like, if you can counter it, you can always do 6P 6H, which is good, but you can't really confirm that. Like there's actually a decent amount of time to confirm. So like if you get a counter hit, you know, you want to do this juicy like thing. And if you have like the extensions on deck, you can do it.
God
But,
damn,
like,
that hurts.
You get better damage and you get much better OP. So like even if you just do like this, right? You can run some good OP.
Yep.
So that's one thing. Like I will say like if I'm playing someone where like I feel much more threatened by their approach, I will tend to dial this in more, because in my mind, as long if I can get a knockdown, it's fine. Like I give up damage, but I'd rather like take the knockdown than like have them like tech back in my face essentially.
Right.
Like because like if a lot of times like if I'm not like if I'm reacting, I'm just reacting and then either going into the combo if it is a counter hit, or I'm just like letting 6P like recover if not. So like this. But the problem is you could tech, and then it's kind of a weird situation. It's not that bad for Venom a lot of times, but it's not great.
You're not just gonna swing with another 6P?
You could, yeah, but you have to like, you have to be careful about their tech timings, and like
Right.
if you do it really low, they might be able to hit you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's like against players where like, I notice I have the bad habit of like against players where I really fear their approach, I really want them to get away, I'll just dial it in, because if I get knocked down, fine, I'll just run Oki and get damage there. But if I feel more comfortable, I will actually like try to confirm, because I don't mind like playing neutral again versus
Right.
them. But versus like if it's someone like they're like, you know, like say Chip, right? It's dangerous. I don't want him to get in my face. I might just dial it in. But yeah, we're giving up a lot of damage. Like Venom players give up a lot of damage if we don't confirm this. Like I think you could probably get like, it's like 140 damage without the reps.
Yeah.
And I think probably like the this like simple combo is probably like, I don't know, like say like 50, 60, 70, somewhere around there. You're giving them like at least
That's a lot.
a factor
of
2 in
fucking
damage,
yeah.
and your Oki's way worse.
Yeah,
Like,
and
way
and a
worse.
lot of corner carry, and all of that is meterless
Yes.
too, right?
Yeah, the corner carry is actually like really critical. I think like one of the reasons why Venom is so strong in this game, and I definitely felt more like playing plus R, like learning plus R in the last couple, like I guess like in the last year or so has kind of like solidified this, which is I think one of the reasons why Venom's so good in this game is that his reward off anti-air is like very, very good. And the reason I know this, like I feel this way now, is because his reward off anti-air in plus R is very situational.
Ah, got it.
Because he cannot jump cancel 6p, and like there's like certain like if you're not close enough for a close slash, like sometimes you can go straight into dubious curve, but you're never gonna get anything like this game's like reward off a 6p count. It's like very difficult.
Yeah, and so the tip that you're giving here is, hey, confirm your counter hit 6Ps so you can do all this shit. Do you have any tips, or like, is there any way that you are practicing confirming that stuff? Like, do you just set it to random counter, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so back when I was practicing in the past, I would just set the dummy to jump and then just random counter hit and just like kind of like get somewhat close-ish and then like just confirm. Yeah, I mean, in my case, it's like I choose the option of just giving up, like if it's like giving up like any sort of knockdown if I don't get the counter hit, but I'm okay with that decision. There might be some other things you can make, but yeah, it's like I think like at first I used to think that it wasn't really reactable, but I think it's like it's not that bad of practice actually. Like it's pretty like the only hard part I think honestly like beyond the reacting is that you do have to adjust for height. So sometimes you have to realize like if you 6p them really high, it's actually like very hard to get the knockdown. So you might have to go for something else. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess setting to random counter is probably like you probably have better results actually playing in match, right? Because I would assume that you already know like, oh, someone IED'd at me, it's probably going to be a counter hit, right? Like,
yeah, no,
because
that's
they're not coming down without a button, and if they're coming down with a button and I 6p them, then that's a fucking counter hit, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely times where I kind of preempted because I see the IID, so I'm like, okay, they're probably pressing a button, so I'm like pretty sure I get a counter. Sometimes that misfires, and then they don't, and I don't get it. I was like, oh crap, I jumped. Well, we'll see how this goes, but yeah, like there's certain situations like you said where you can like you're kind of primed to expect a counter hit.
Cool.
Okay.
Man. Yeah. Anything else on your mind?
So the third tip.
Yeah, what you got?
All right, this one is like the most broad, so I left it for last. So my thing, so this is kind of a general gear thing, but one thing I would say for Venom players is you should focus like you should think a lot about repositioning more. So I think in general, like with newer Guilty Gear players, you find that their movement is stiffer. They'll like stand in place more, like either like really commit to runs or like just in general, they're not as dynamic with their movement, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll immediately double jump. They won't like, you know, jump, delay, do some other stuff. Like they'll ID immediately. They won't like mix things up. The thing that makes us Venom specific is I want to add the caveat of learn to reposition more, like reposition a lot if you can, without relying too much on teleport. Because teleport can be predictable. Yeah. So teleport is really good. Don't get me wrong. I think Venom's teleport is extremely good. It is only 20 total frames.
Wow.
It goes strike invuln on frame 7. So you can get like I think there's some points in like some of the match footage where you'll see me like teleporting right before I get hit. Because like I'm like, okay, there's some space, I can get out of here. And like the way I think about it, like I've talked to Wilton about this, is that you can kind of think of like, even if you don't have ball, teleport is kind of like a super jump without the rising vulnerability. It's about the same height as a super jump, and you have the same options. You can IED or you can air dash. You can't double jump, but you can air dash.
Damn it, you don't have to
Unless
jump install it?
You can jump install to get the double jump.
That's cool.
But you get the air dash without it. So like, let me see if I can actually do this.
I have to jump install just to get an air dash. This is bullshit. You have a better teleport than I do?
Venom's teleport is actually really good.
Why can he teleport?
He needs it.
What about playing billiards involves it? Anyway, all right.
But yeah, like for reference for people, like because the number 20 might sound like kind of like it might be like whatever to people.
Yeah.
It's as fast as Chip's fast as teleport.
This is 20.
Chips are also 20.
Yeah.
Right, like I think it's slowest like 28 or something, right?
That's the carry, I think.
But yeah, so yeah, like teleport is really good. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely like one thing I see with newer Venom players is they'll over rely on teleport, and it is hard to punish like at a lower level, but if someone's familiar with the matchup, you're either gonna get air thrown or even worse. They're gonna like do a big air, like big bun to like hit you on the way out.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes
yeah,
I catch myself like trying to cover like a ball with JD or something when I know they want to teleport. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, I feel like a god.
Yeah, but there's actually like there's a lot of benefits to repositioning. For example, like I'll bring up like a certain anecdote. For the longest time, so I've been playing since Sign. I've been playing since release, right? I mostly played my brother and I net played, so I didn't really go to locals for years. But I did not press far slash for like the first 2 years, 2 or 3 years. And like when I finally started doing it, my brother's like, "You're an idiot." I'm like, "Yes, you're right." And the reason for that, the reason I didn't like pressing far slash is like. This is good, but the thing is, nothing else reaches at this range, right? But one thing I realized at some point that made me like want to use it more is that if I micro dash, I can actually like get a 2S.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
So like this is like the importance of movement right here. Like you can carry over the momentum and just like get a string that like. So you're not just doing like one hit. And like the nice thing with this is you have more time to kind of confirm what's going on.
Yeah, or you could charge like a fucking stinger or something off that too, huh?
I think there's not enough time for that, unfortunately.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
if you start charging on far S and you get the 2S block? I feel like Guile could.
You can't do it. You might be able to. Let me see. No.
Yeah, it's too fast.
The problem is 2S doesn't have a lot of active frames, and it's like. I think it barely ends up not being enough, or it's like really, really tight. But yeah, movement's like really important. It's like, a lot of newer Venoms I'll see they'll do things like they'll just like zone from full screen. They'll set balls, like they'll just set up really big zoning formations, which is fine, but you have to move around sometimes. And I think like the philosophy behind that is that if you're static in one place, your opponent will like have an idea of how to approach you, right? They'll like. Regardless of what happens, they have an image of like where you are positioned, right? By repositioning a lot, like running, you throw off their approach. So there's one of two things that happen. One is if they really commit to something and they're using old information, you have a much higher chance of getting out of there, of dodging, right? That's like staying alive.
Yeah.
The second thing is if they like see that they're missing these and then they adjust so that they're more patient with their approach, then that gives you more breathing room, which is very critical for Venom. Like you got to find space to like, like assess the situation and like, maybe you find space to summon, but the most important thing is if people are out of your face is very good for Venom. And you can keep like because if they're in your face, it's kind of scary. You kind of have to hold it. But like if they're over here, you check them with this, you check them with this. This is 6 frames, right? Like you try to come back in, no. Like you can fight well at those ranges, but if they're up in your face and you're blocking, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
There's also stuff like 6P. This is an amazing anti-air, but it does not hit right above Venom. So there are certain and there's certain air buns that are like really strong, right? So one thing I like to do to negate them is I'll run under them and 6P them from the other side, because their hitbox won't be anywhere. I do. Yes, I love running under people and doing it.
Are there like air tech situations or something that usually set that up, or do you just look for it in neutral?
I kind of look for it in neutral. So like, it depends on what they do. So like, if they're just like super jumping immediately at me, then it's harder. But like, if they like jump into the air and I'm anticipating the double jump, then I'll like run under. It like depends. I guess
that gives you time to like run for it and see what happens and do something, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, even if you don't anti-air them, like you can avoid their attacks by crossing them up. Right. So. And like it will also confuse them, but yeah, I think like repositioning is like really strong, and like a lot of it for Venom is like running short distances, like jumping, sometimes stalling your air movement. So this one I know a lot of people do. You stall your air movement with air ball set, or you like mad struggle, which I think a lot of players do. But I think like ground movement is also really important, and just making sure that you're not staying in one spot too long. Like I'm not saying like run at them like all the way, but like repositioning is really nice in terms of like confusing your opponent and making them think twice.
Yeah,
this one's like harder to explain, but I think it's like one that you just like build on slowly over time, and it's like really important.
Nah, it makes sense. One of the things that I often find myself explaining to like, usually it's like the kind of the higher level beginners or the lower level intermediates, is that like people in this game kind of default to identifying the quickest path to contact and then going right there, right? So like, if we're here and we're both pretty new, you see this happen a lot off a burst, right? So I'm gonna burst you, all right, you tech or whatever, and then we're instantly like, ah! And you try and get, hey, what up, Hirsch? You try and get into and collide at like the first possible like moment of collision, right? And we're both doing the math. We're like, you are here, you are this character, you're moving at this pace, you're gonna, and I'm here, I'm at this character, I'm at this place, so we're gonna clash here, right? And we clash, and whatever button I have is gonna hit whatever button you have, and whoever picked the better button wins, right? And then you start to learn to do shit like this, and then that confuses the point of clash. Right? Because if the other person was autopiloting to that spot, well, guess what? They're going to whiff, and now I get to do whatever I want. And Venom, I mean, what you're describing sounds kind of similar to that, right? It's like you just do these small things to change your position, and so all of a sudden the opponent has to put a little bit more thought into figuring out, oh, where do I hit this motherfucker?
Right. And I think actually Hirsch brings up a, like, I definitely agree with what Hirsch says, and I want to, like, kind of expand on that, where it's like, what is it? It kind of fits into Venom's archetype is the funny thing, right? Because he's a character that is like, he can zone and he can pressure, right? He actually, like, a lot of times he does want to pressure, but you basically play the zoning game to be able to pressure, but there's also certain characters where you would rather just try to zone if you can. So, like, it is kind of inherent to his character design that, like, you want to be able to, like, play at both these ranges, and, like, because of that, you have to know how to, like, adeptly move between those ranges.
Yeah, that is, when I have a hard time playing against you, it's because I feel like you're never quite where I want you to be, and you're not doing the things that I want you to do, right? I'm like, oh no, your pressure is overwhelming. Okay, I'm ready to go. I've got my options on deck to beat this pressure. Wait, where the fuck did you go? You know?
I mean, so to be fair, like, versus Chip too, like, movement is, like, doubly important, because I remember a tip that I got from Bears, which is moving is really important versus Chip, because his teleport tracking sucks.
Yeah.
So you can, like, throw off his positioning a lot, or, like, avoid certain situations by moving more.
Absolutely. Yeah, and teleport usage in particular, like, this is one of the places where I think it's easiest to see some of the impacts of small movement, right? Because you know, like Bonjour said, if you just go ahead and, like, I don't know, I guess jump back and then air dash at me, right? Like, I was committed to that teleport by the time you jump back. Even if I come down with a JH, like, you're probably already out of the way, you know?
Right.
Cool. Well, that was some awesome tips for the budding Venom players in our chat. Any tips for playing against Venom? Things that you think people should do more of?
Yeah, so there's a couple. I actually had to, like, pare this one down, because I realized, I was like, oh yeah, there's, like, a lot of things you have to learn to fight this character, huh? So I'll start with probably, like, the most immediate wall I think people run into, which is how do I deal with ball zoning versus Venom, right? That's actually, like, really important. You know, there's a lot of options. The general, like, if I have to give one tip to people, is that super jump height is actually pretty strong against a lot of ball zoning. So, like, even, like, you know, these split formations are kind of slow, and, like, a lot of times if you super jump early enough, you can air dash over.
Okay.
Also, like, on grounded stuff, like,
Got it,
see this, right? Like, even if I commit to this, like, you can get over it. Like any of these, like, trade ones, like, almost all the good stuff that will catch like the super jump height requires, like, you to either be in the air or it's this, which is really good. I actually love this spot.
Right.
Like, this is, like, just a huge wall.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to commit to a sub.
Yeah, that's a pretty big call out, right? Like, if I see you set up balls and you're trying to cover the vertical space, it's either that double head morbid or what? JD is the other option, I think.
JD is really good. So yeah, those are the two, like, go-to ones, or, like, you know, you H carcass.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, JD, this one's really good. So, like, for example, oops, let me get rid of one of these.
My jutsus. All right.
So like, yeah, JD's, like, that's a really great
yeah.
angle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's other ones too. Like, this one's kind of preemptive, but that's good. Like JH. Like, the other ones are like JS, JK. All those kind of don't hit high enough to cover the super jump height. But I would say, like, that's one of my first tips. Like, you know, you can't always go for it, but it is a good, like, if you're having, like, if they're doing, like, you know, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Right. just like, like hitting slow like balls or like doing slow split formations like that. Like if you super jump in early enough, you can kind of get through those. You definitely have to explore.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a good first tip.
Oh,
the second one is
sorry, real quick.
ahead.
That's kind of interesting because I was just looking at it now. Like if you set up those ball formations, you might think, oh, well, double jumping will get me up there, right? Can I just double jump? But because it takes longer to get up there and get down, I feel like you actually have more time to deal with a double jump than you do a super jump.
Right. Oh no, this connection.
Yeah, I know.
What is going on? Might be my internet was wonky yesterday because of the rain.
We can reset the delay real quick.
So that's like the first tip. The second one is basically IB balls, especially in air. That one's actually really important. So
interesting.
there is kind of this. I remember when I was starting, people would say stuff like, "Oh, if you IB in air, you get an air option back, like you can jump in air dash." But actually, it's just if you block in air, you get it. It's just that with IB, the block stun is a lot lower, right?
Got it. I see.
So that you can act sooner. But there's certain formations, like for example, this one, if you jump into the top ball, and you don't IB, you actually like get pushed back into the low ball.
Oh wow!
It's
that's
up.
huge.
Yeah. So there was actually a really good Ryan Hunter stream. He was doing it in Plus R, but where he was explaining why IB is important. So like if you want more detail, you can go there. Like, but I'll kind of give a brief thing. But like if you IB, it does two things, right? One, you don't get pushed back as far.
Damn, that block stun is wild. Oh
right?
yeah, I did.
First of all, you don't get pushed back into it. Second of all, you recover faster, so you can like air dash or something. And then Venom has to like basically brace. They have to be ready for the approach. But like otherwise, like if people don't know, they could just hold this forever.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, if I'm not dropping my sets. Oh my god. I can't play this game anymore.
Blame Wilton for the MMOs. Oh,
I mean, I played Wilton yesterday, so. But yeah, basically, yeah, so IBing balls is really important. Like, it basically, like, there's certain formations that rely on pushing you back. IB will negate that. But even beyond that, it lets you act earlier in the air, so you can navigate balls a lot more easily.
Damn, okay. And I can, sorry, do that setup one more time? So I go, oh wow, yeah, you do have enough time to air dash. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, meanwhile, like, if, yeah, it might look funny, but, like, if he doesn't IB, he really cannot act. Like, he basically, like, falls to the ground, and the second ball just pushes him again. Then he's blocked again.
It actually felt like Strive block stun. Like, that's how intense it is. I was holding back and mashing up just to see if there was a chance. And you just saw me get fucking caught up backing. Okay, yeah, because I IB'd it. That's wild. Yep. That's a huge difference. This is only for aerial block stun, right? Like, because I don't normally when you IB shit on the ground, it's a difference of like a couple frames, but this feels like a lifetime.
Right. Yeah. That's that's the reason I mentioned airball specifically, because like if you IB on the ground, right, depending on attack level, it shaves anywhere from 2 to 4 frames, right? But like for air, it can like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it can go up to like 7 or 8 or something.
That felt
it felt
like a lot, yeah.
Significant. And I think, I don't know what it is for level 2 air attacks, because I assume the ball, yeah, I don't know what it is for level 2 attacks in the air, but like it's much more than on the ground, like that you shave off.
Well, goddamn, that's a handy tip.
Yep. So those are like 2 key things. Like, you know, if you have character-specific ways of going under balls, for example, like slides and stuff, of course you should utilize that. But this is like a tip that I think anyone fighting versus Venom, except like, you know, maybe if you have really bad air movement.
Yeah.
Like if you're like Potemkin, then maybe it's different. But for most of the cast, it can apply.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're normally using like character-specific options to get in, like I'm sure there are situations where you've essentially like meatied someone in the air with ball setups, right? Like, oh, you're covering an air tech option by just setting balls and getting that stuff up, right? And then your primary tool, I guess, would be IB, and then maybe trying to get back in the action.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so Noah pulled it up. It's a 6 frame difference. So it's a big difference if you IB in the air for level 2 attack or not.
That's huge. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, also, like, getting locked in the air by the ball is really bad, because you run more risk of, like, say if I do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I catch a lot of people not FDing in the air, so they expect to hit the ground a lot of times, but they'll get locked in the air by a ball. And then I'll, like, catch them with a 6H, and they're not FDing, so they get knocked down. So it lets you, like, of course, like if you are in that situation, it's good if you can react FD. But if you can like IB or something, like basically don't get locked down in that situation, that's even better.
Yeah. Damn,
Yep.
that's some nice stuff.
Second tip is actually like kind of the counterpoint to one of the first tips. And
Yep.
again, this is more useful against me because I abuse K-ball Oki so much, but it's still really useful. Against like newer players, I think a lot of them don't know exactly how to block, at least like even try to block K-ball.
Yep.
There's like fancier setups, or there's like fancier like answers once you get beyond like the blocking level. But the very basic thing is a lot of people don't realize that you don't block that ball cross up. You block
What
that
the
ball
fuck?
same side.
Yeah, dude.
You block the ball same
get
side,
hit,
and then you
I get hit by this every single time because it fucks me up.
you block the ball the same side, then you side swap. Most of the time when people do K-ball Oki, Venom will cross you up. There are some distances where he will not cross you up. Like if you're really far, like off a like a 6H like hit. So like if they do like, if I say like, or come, oh god, I don't know if I can do this in the way, but like if you do like your standard like IED route and then you like tack on like some run jump loop, like an extension, sometimes they'll be too far for you to actually like side swap with a K-ball. The one good thing about that is that if you don't think they're going to side swap, you should probably just block high because the low conversion sucks.
Sure.
Like, normally the reason why this setup is good is because this ball pushes you into Venom. So he can get, like, the best shit. Like, he's, like, right next to you. But when he doesn't side swap you, like, let me see. Let me try to...
Yep.
When he doesn't side swap, you get pushed away. So you, a lot of times it's actually hard to get like close slash. You'll just like get 2K and then you'll be out of close slash's proximity range, and then he'll probably have to just go for that, which is way less damage. And steps are okay; they're about the same, but the main thing is that the damage is way less.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just a quick tip is like if you run a K-ball Oki, block the ball not crossed up on the same side, then swap your block direction.
And if in K-ball Oki, like the ball is pretty much always supposed to hit, right?
Yes. Yeah. Like if so there are some like fake out setups. Like sometimes people do that, but usually they'll do something like this instead, where there's no guarantee.
Right.
And like it kind of keeps you like your procs blocking, right?
Right.
It locks you in block stun still. So when people are trying to blow up people for like fuzzy blocking K-ball mix, they'll usually do something like that instead. If you see me do K-ball and the ball goes through you, I just messed up.
Right.
And I think that's true for a lot of Venom players.
Yeah.
We just messed up our timing.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes it's intentional, but like a lot of times it's just an error.
Cool. So you heard it here, y'all. Block that ball same side and then adjust your block for the cross up or not cross up. Goddamn.
Yep.
That annoys me like every time I play against you, by the way. So thanks for that. I appreciate the tips. If no one else in chat does.
Yeah, I actually forgot about this one, and I was like, all right. I was like sending the list of points to Wilson because I had like 5 points. It's like, which one of these should I keep? It's like, dude, you forgot about an important one: how to block K-ball Oki. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
It is really weird because just go ahead and do it again.
Because it looks like it's gonna cross you up, right? Like if you don't know.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, just hit me with it real quick. Yeah.
Oh, that one I messed up. I need to run a little bit more.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? It's.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's good stuff. All right.
And then the last thing is probably like a more general thing, which is like just learn kind of where like Venom players might be trying to take their turn back when they shouldn't. So like one thing I get away with against a lot of people is if I do this, right?
Yeah.
Like that is minus 13. This is minus 13. Like both these, like any sort of poke, minus 13. The best it can be is if you do like this, that's minus 8. But like, you know, you don't want to be
pretty big, yeah.
Like you would like do something like this instead, maybe, right? So you're at least out of range. So like maybe you can't punish Venom at that range, but you should probably try to take your turn at least approach. Because like if I play someone and I realize I can do stuff like this, I just bully them forever. I mean, yeah, I just like bully them forever.
Yeah.
Like if I think I could just hit balls like after post set, like I'll be super greedy about it.
But
like, you know,
it's scary. It looks scary because the set ball looks like it's active even though it's not, and you can activate it with like a quick ass button, but when I'm looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a lot of that is a lot of space, right? Oh shit, we're at 9 frames. Let me just reset this real quick.
My connection is nasty. Oh, unfortunate.
But yeah,
But,
that's huge. I mean, it's not quite like jam, you know, charging in your face or whatever, but it is kind of close to like this, you know.
Right. It's like one of those things where it's like, even if you don't like even if you can't really punish them, you should try to move forward or like take your turn, like threaten them and show them that you know that it's very minus.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you can even like IAD, like it depends on the distances. Like if you have a character with a fast ID, you might even be able to catch them with that, like trying to do something. But you do have to be prepared because you know this is a very good one.
Yeah, yeah. I really like this tip because it's in the same spirit of like when I'm telling people to blitz more on chips left right, like not because it's always correct, right? But because if you tell me that you're not playing that aspect of the game, then I get to get away with murder, right? That's a thing that I don't have to think about. Like, I don't know how often I would say I consciously challenge you when you're just doing, like, a poke into ball set like that. But, you probably, at the very least, like, the fact that it's not something that you have to worry about means that you can be thinking about other shit, right?
Right. Yeah, I will say, I will add the caveat that, like, you know, if you're too aggressive, then Venom can do crap like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, this will catch people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if you're, like, this is good, too. Q5 is good, too, but it does have a decent amount of recovery. So, like, it's not the worst thing, and, like, you will usually be out of range to block there. Like, the thing about this is, if I do this, like, you could probably ID in and get in my face.
Oh, let's try that again. Yeah, I feel like 6P probably a little dicey there. You'd probably have to blitz or something. Oh shit. Oh wow.
Nope, too good.
Fuck you.
I guess if you're ready. I guess you gotta be ready.
Yeah.
But the main point is that, like, this is actually a lot, like, Q5, it's a good move, really good move. Actually, I'm going to talk about it in a second, but
cool.
It's way more, you commit way more frames than ball set. Ball set's 26, Q5, I think, is 38 minimum. I think that's the number. You can hold it for, like, you know, to be longer to level it up and all that, but it's, like, at the very minimum, 12 more frames you commit.
Okay.
The other thing actually was, I want to talk about Q5. So, newer players will, like, respect this.
Yeah.
This is -4. If this is uncharged, it's -4. You know, sometimes it's dicey. Like, if I do something like this, oops, well, the ball wasn't supposed to be there. If I do something, oh god, like this, right? Okay, assume that hit, right? Then it's really hard to match against Venom because he could do this, right? This is 6 frames.
Yeah.
But if you're close, right, and you block one, like, you should just take your turn. He's -4. Like, you probably, like, most characters can't punish him, at least, but, like, oh god. This delay is nasty.
Yep.
But at the very least, like, you should take your turn. Because, like, don't respect it. Like, if I notice people aren't doing that, then I will just, like, reset pressure over and over with this.
Yeah, it's go ahead and just do that block string into Q5 again. It's funny because looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that does look like it's minus, right? But when you do it, it looks like it's this incredibly plus as fuck, right?
Right. So here's the funny thing about Q5. Uncharged Q5 is level 0 attack. One of the reasons why it's kind of hard to react to is because it has really low hit stun. Or like hit stop.
Yeah.
So as you charge it, it goes up in level. So like if you block like even this level, he's only -1. So then it gets really dicey. But if you block an uncharged one like that, you should take your turn. Like mining distance, of course. Like if you're if he's out here, maybe don't, because you know you probably don't have anything that reaches. Maybe you'll hit the startup of 2S, but you have to be careful. But yeah, that's another thing. Like if I play players who aren't familiar with Venom, I just do that all day. Like I can Q5, just take my turn over and over. Don't let him do that. Like, and as for Venom players, it's okay to be greedy sometimes with that, but you, like, it's one of those things you gauge, right? Like, like if they're responding to it, yeah, don't rely on too much. But if you can, like, it's really ridiculous.
Interesting. Yeah, even just paying attention to like the thing about playing against Venom is not only do you kind of need to understand enough of his tool set to be able to recognize the difference between all these things, you know? Like when I'm playing against your ass, you can probably tell I get impatient sometimes, and I'm just like, hey, you got balls out there? Fuck your balls. I just want to teleport or whatever, right?
I mean, That's part of Venom's playstyle, right?
Yeah.
Like I actually think like, because the thing is, this is good, right? You control space, but your reward is not massive off this. Your goal is to do this. Either you do this, right? You set a ball and you can go in, or you do this and they get pissed off and they ID at you and you 6p their face and you like delete them for it.
Yeah.
So you either like, if they're patient, you set balls, you build advantage in neutral like just by having balls out, or you hit them and you can go in, or if they're impatient, you like body them for it, like you punish them hard for it. And I think that's kind of like fundamental to Venom's like play style. You know, with the third column of Cheapoki. That's the third column we talk.
That's right. And Dark Angel and a teleport that's better than chips and
yeah, because like the thing is, even if I don't 6p, right, Venom's air throw, the reward off air throw is like insane. Like,
yeah.
Like as long as he's like your jump height and not higher, he can do basically anything he does off ground throw or even better. Like, you know, like this setup. Oops. That. Oh my god. I can't air throw right now. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Okay, so like.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if you're higher than like you settle for like a ball set, but his reward off air throw is like insane in this game. And then there's that setup that I used to do all the time, which is this. Hard to get it tight, but I mean, look at this. This is insane. It's hard to get it, so it's like airtight, and it kind of depends on positioning. But like that, look at that. Like, do you want to have to block that?
Off an air throw. Wait, let me see if I can see that again.
Let me see if I can do it again. Oops, too early.
Shit.
Oh god. Yeah, this was some setup that, oops, I can't get it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's
we
really
got it
good.
on clip.
Yeah.
On tape. But yeah, this is basically like some chip setup that 310 or Sato Venom came up with like a while ago. It has its issues. It's like, it requires a decent amount of practice and it can be hard to get airtight, but it's really good.
Well, fuck, man. That's a lot of potential chip or lost meter over in air throw. You know what I get off of air throw? I get like a pretty good knockdown.
I mean, like, okay, here, like, even if not, like, so jump up, let me try air throw you. Oops. Like, even if you don't want to go for fancy meter stuff, you could just do the ground stuff like this, and it's like, cool, this is great. Like, if I didn't miss that, but you can get decent corner carry, basically. Like, you hit this ball, you chip them out, like, his rewards off throw are, like, insane, basically. Like, I think he gets, like, it's like him or Johnny that gets the most reward off the regular throw in this game.
Yeah, and Johnny has
like,
to like
for a while, I was
spend
convinced it was
coins
Venom,
and
but
stuff,
like he gets coins, so depends on who you ask. But Venom's reward off throw is nuts.
All that, and he's a fucking grappler, y'all. Play Venom. So I don't know if you know this, but I guess like Marlon Pie started playing Eno because he wanted to see more people like taking advantage of her cheap shit in North America. He's like, this character's fucked up. Y'all need to play her, right? Which he proved by playing Zato for like his whole life and then switching to Eno and within a year fucking getting back into like, you know, top threes and whatever. But I feel like you could be on that crusade for Venom, right? You could just be like, y'all don't understand how cheap this character is, man.
I mean, he's definitely doing wild things, you know, that I haven't seen other players do, so it's working.
All right.
I think that's it for like
Sick.
tips and like tips for and against Venom.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing this stuff, man. This is awesome, and it's definitely like it's at best it's the kind of thing that you could get like, I don't know, at fucking Denny's after tag and battle or something like that. You know, like it's not easy to get this information, but you just rolled up and shared it. So thank you so much. So now I think we're gonna go take a look at some replays real quick. Let me see. I got Gutter Daughter sent me a couple links. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull those up. And I don't know what the easiest. I guess I can stream this to Discord if that's an easier way for you to watch it. Because I think if you watch along on Twitch,
I think that it will be the least delay.
All right, yeah, let's do that. So we got 3 clips here. Let's see, we got something from Tag-In, and then 2 Cali bursts. Okay, let's start with the Tag-In battle. All right, just gonna go ahead and.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Take your time. Hey, yeah, shouts to Tag-In battle. NorCal's number one best Venom coming through, sharing the all the good stuff. Yeah, we did this for Chip. I went over my match with CT. Yo, tag in this Saturday. Yo, drop the link, Espada. What you running? Strive and BB tag or what? Melty? That's right. Online tag in.
Okay, I'm back. Let me
Sick.
pull it up.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Just to love.
Gram Blue and Type Lumina. All right. Well, shout outs to tag in. Y'all getting that online Gram Blue and Type Lumina in this weekend to check that shit out.
Only
All right.
mids on Friday.
Only mids on Friday. That's right. Thanks for the reminder. If you are intermediate level and you're trying to throw down on some Exerd Rev2 net play, check out Only Mids. Is it smash.gg/only mids or what is it?
Yeah, only dash mids.
Only dash mids. They're just mids, bro. All right. Winners finals at August Tag and Battle. Simo versus Bonjern.
Yeah, and also has the first.
Much love to the commentators, but I'm gonna go ahead and mute it just to make it a little bit easier to keep track of. And Bonjern, you just tell me whenever there's anything you want me to pause on, okay?
Oh god. All right, this is kind of choppy right now.
Oh,
Give
yeah?
me a sec.
Okay, I can here. Maybe if I don't full screen it, that might make it better. Let's see. Try this out. This playing okay?
Let's see. Still choppy.
It's
a little better.
Let me see if there's like a share tab option or something. I'll try it again. Oh, Chrome tab. I think that'll work better. How's this looking?
About the same.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing we're trying this out. Oh, this is okay. I can go ahead and reload it.
In the worst case, I will just, if we're stopping a start, I could probably just do it from like, if it doesn't work, we could probably just do it from the stream. Like, I'll just watch the stream.
Okay.
But yeah, like, any other ideas?
Let's see. If it's, take a sec to figure this out. Discord streaming is usually the best option for this kind of thing, but yeah, I'm just gonna Google simultaneous YouTube play and we'll see what comes up. View sync. Whenever I've used these, they've fucking sucked, but we'll give it a shot and we'll see if it works. Let's see. Stream settings. No, okay. All right, we're gonna try that. Step one, okay.
Oh, also one more thing
Yo,
that I'd
what
like
up?
to say. I forgot one thing. Literally, none of Venom's ground buttons are not minus on block.
Got it.
Just know that every single
Good to
Venom, like
know.
target rate, which is plus 10, is hilarious with plus, right?
Yeah.
But all his buttons are actually minus, so it's a good thing to keep in mind. So like, if Venom does stuff like 2S not counter hit and you're still in range,
Mhm.
you can actually, because 2S, like even if he hits you, it'll probably be like -5 or something. Venom exists in counter state. Yeah, ball set actually has a lot of counter hit states. So if you like catch Venom ball setting, you should do your fattest punish. Definitely a thing.
All right.
His balls is good, but if he's just checking you with 2S and you're like close enough to do something, and you think like you should probably just represent something. Because if they're greedy, then you
God.
can actually catch them mashing 2S again.
Good to know. All right. Let me just DM you this link real quick, I think, and we'll try this. Do you get that room?
Yeah, mostly Venom's safety exists by him pushing you out of a range where you can punish him. That's like, unless he has balls. If he has balls, then life gets better. But
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty. I feel like that's pretty classic anime, right? Like most anime attacks will default to minus unless there's something special about the attack that makes it plus. But Venom having all of his frame advantage off ball sets and stuff, that makes sense. All right. Are you in this
wait,
room?
what is- I am in this room.
Cool.
Wait, what the hell is this video?
So this should be.
5 for exert.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
All right, it didn't take the time code, so let me see where we at. 42 minutes 38 seconds. All right. So you started out, yeah. So you started off like at the beginning of the last round, right?
Hmm. I think actually all these clips are last round of a set.
Sick. When you've at the max download. All right. And
All right, so
can you try
pause
pausing
for a
stuff
second?
real quick? Will that...
Oh yeah, I can try it.
There we
Oh
go.
yeah,
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So one thing, actually, like this is kind of like bad habit kind of thing. I actually went for a lot of K ball to stop air approaches. This is actually an issue I was having in plus R2 where like I probably need to go for more P ball 5P hit.
Okay.
It can be dicey sometimes because if you don't hit the P ball soon enough, they can still sail over it with an ID. But generally, like I'm kind of scared of like Milia's air approach more than her ground approach.
Sure.
Like her ground approach is scary, but like it's hard to stuff stuff like pin. Like it's like you kind of like personally, I'm still trying to think of like good ways of dealing with, but a lot of times I try to just like stop her from being able to do that in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you block pin, you're generally locked down and she's in your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, if you want to control, feel free. Oh. All right, go burst it off. Stinger Wire C, the classic.
Oh,
Classic. Okay, that's actually one thing.
Got the pin.
Right there. So
Get out of there.
oops. Here, I'll just control it.
Yeah.
Pressure.
So
Uh-huh.
one thing I missed. Okay. One thing that actually was in the entire set. So this is just like an issue like I didn't like adjust for was that Simo was actually doing a really, really good job of tick throwing me. So a lot of times he'd do like a hit
does
and
that,
then
man.
run up and throw me. Yeah, no, but okay, he does that, but like that day he was doing it really well. Like I didn't stop any of them.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't ready. Like a lot of times it was kind of like looser hits, so I didn't expect it to be like that. Or he would like do some air string, and I kind of would have expected him to just land and do a string, but he went for the air throw or like the throw reset. Or my guess is that he might have thought that he was too high to combo, so he just went for the run up throw and I wasn't ready for that. I didn't judge the height of like blocking an air dash string.
Yeah, that makes sense.
properly.
I think Simo knows when his shit when, like he'll get into a zone where he's like, the next thing I have here is low confidence because maybe the conversion's a little weird or I don't know, whatever. And so he'll decide to bail and throw like well before my brain catches up to that shit, you know?
Right. And like if he's throw using with like 4H, then he either gets a fast button if he's out of range or I try to like jump away or something, or throw. So like it's not the worst gamble. Oops. Hero.
5, 6. Okay, blocks the overhead that time. No punish on the digitalis.
Okay, so that one was just like I basically reacted to the wire C,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, he's gonna do something, so I'll just block. But basically, the ball covered my ass there.
5. Okay.
Whew. Okay,
Alright,
the
four
throw.
Yep, another one of those.
Oh no!
Oh,
Second time we messed up the disc.
Good block on the pin.
yep.
Jumps out.
Try to reposition her. I missed the 6P.
Trading back and
Oh, here we go. 4H again.
This is the
Can't
Yeah, I
grab.
got faked out by that. So the 5K, I was like, oh shit, like I got faked out and I was like stand blocking.
First save. Nope.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay. This is huge. He's got to guess right.
Yeah, this one I did not like think well enough to
Bait the burst.
to bait the burst.
last hit.
And that made a critical error here. This one, this ID. So
Yeah.
actually, that IAD, I was like, I definitely gave Simo props for that because I did not do that sort of air approach the entire set. So I was like, okay, I think like, you know, I haven't represented this. So I figured this is a decent time to gamble. But Simo was ready. My guess is like he probably thought, oh, you know, like this is a good time to do this sort of stuff, even though I didn't represent it. So he did a low commitment option there, which was 5P.
Yeah.
And then like when he saw that whiff, he just did 5P again, killed me for it. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's a good call. Yeah, I basically was gambling on like because
Okay.
I was
This
gambling
is-
on him
this
not
is huge. He's
thinking
gotta
that was
guess
an
right.
option because I hadn't represented it.
Burst back.
But he was ready.
Bait the burst.
You're going down to
Straight.
last
Ah,
hit.
yep.
The 5P for
5P anti-air and Simo punches his ticket in the winner's side of grand finals.
Yeah, that was an intense set.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That's good
Yeah,
stuff.
and then
5P hit backwards.
What's up?
Oh no, that's
Don't
basically
ever
it.
let anyone call you
Like
Amelia.
another thing is like,
Amelia sucks in any game. Don't ever let them
which is
tell
a
you
general
Amelia
thread, and I
sucks in
think
any
every
game.
like player is gonna say this is like, you need to work on not dropping things because
Mhm.
definitely
And
both of us were
Steve-O
dropping
declaring
things.
top 2
I didn't mind so
characters.
much because I think it was like the first offline bracket I'd competed
right.
in like since
Over a
pandemic,
year, yeah.
basically. Yeah.
We,
So
All right.
didn't mind too much.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed there is that after every burst interaction, you went for either I think you went for one carcass and like 2 stingers, right? Are those just usually like your go-to when you know that like I think of the like post burst interaction as pretty as like a kind of common reset point, right? Because you're gonna blow the other person to the other side of the screen, or you get blown to the other side of the screen. But like, it's not a hard knockdown, right? So they can air tech, they can dash back in. Is that what you're used to? Were you just trying to put shit out like to make sure that there was something she could run into, or what?
It's kind of a ladder, I guess. Like I kind of gauge. Well, sometimes I'm bad about it, but like assuming I'm thinking decently, I try to gauge like how aggressive they are, and I'll like put a ball out at like that angle to cover that.
Mhm.
My default actually a lot of times is I'll just ball set, and that is contingent on them not being aggressive.
I see.
If you just ID on me, then I get punished. But like that is more like if I see that like, or I think they're not going to just like push and like ID, like not ID, air dash immediately off the burst, I'll just ball set because that gives me neutral advantage. Right?
I see. I see. But you
like,
thought you were
Venom
like
plus
Simo
ball
is coming
shot.
in because he's a Amelia player.
Yes.
He's got pinned, so you got to be ready for that. I see.
Yeah, it's funny because it's not one of the clips I picked, but another like in this tournament when I played you,
Mhm.
I kept trying to do H carcass because I thought you were gonna go in, which
Yeah.
you did. But the thing is, you kept going in an angle that just stuffed it,
Mhm.
and I kept telling myself like I need to stop doing this. I'm dying for it. Like when I was watching the footage, I was like, okay, I need to not do this against like in this situation because I'm dying for
Yep.
it.
All right, let's move on to the next clip. Let's see, it's a Cali burst one. What we got? Oh, what's the time code on here? 9-1. Oh, son of a bitch. Hold on. Let's see. Where is this? 2 minutes 33. Okay, or 2 hours 33. Let's... All right, here we go.
Thanks for tuning in, Noah.
oh, good block.
Yeah, thanks for coming through, Noah.
Oh no, P didn't
All right.
convert. All right.
Okay.
Now Barner on that point.
Just gonna turn this down a little bit. There
I
we go.
agree. I hate Amari Coin. It's fucked up.
All right. First thing. Whoop, there we go.
Honestly, I have to
Sorry.
pay you to-
First thing is I basically ID back 6P. So I like that round start against Johnny a lot of times because you get away from coin and a lot of Johnnies. So I didn't do this here, but a lot of Johnnies will do coin and then if they notice you retreating, they'll do like 6K. 6P actually will just beat that clean.
Oh wow.
So if you do like 6P, like, and you'll counter hit him. So you either get 6P, 6H knockdown. So that's why I just dialed straight into it. Or like the safer thing is to do 6P, 5S, and you'll get close slash.
Okay.
generally. And if he doesn't rush in, then you get 6P far slash. So it's like a pretty good option. And generally speaking, like 6P I think is a really good answer to most of Johnny's approaches. He has some answers, but like he's pretty tall. So like you'll basically hit any of his standing buttons. His crouching like you'll hit 2S because he sticks his hand up. So he has to do stuff like 2K or like 2P, which are kind of low reach, or 2D, which is better, but it's a little bit more committal. And like, 6P will beat air approaches unless they do stuff like Misfinder stall.
Right.
So 6P is kind of a good default check versus Johnny.
Makes sense.
And it has the benefit of like you can do 6P far slash. So you can push him out if you want.
Mm.
And so I think representing 6P is good versus unleveled Johnny. I should say that. So if he's leveled up, he can kill you for whiffing. But if he doesn't have levels, right, then you can control neutral a lot just with that button.
Good to know. So is it like 6P won't low profile his like is it the S? Wait, K.
2S. It won't low. It will low profile K Finder. Actually
Okay.
will.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
K Finder has no counter hit state, so the best thing to hope for is you make him waste his levels, which is good.
I
for
see.
sure.
Okay.
But you're not gonna kill him for like the call out.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
pay you to get me the fuck out of the situation. Like,
Yeah, I see you rocking that 6P a whole bunch. Ooh.
fucking Ted DiBiase.
All right.
corner
I got
throw.
really lucky there. I blocked him in the air. I'm pretty sure he's trying to do Zwei YRC.
Yeah.
Like
He had enough
but
meter
he didn't
for
have
it,
the meter. Yeah, he didn't have meter for the RC is the problem.
Honestly, the $1 million man.
Okay, so at this point, basically, sorry,
Yeah.
let me go back.
Get me the fuck out of this situation. Like, Johnny is just fucking Ted DiBiase.
So basically,
bro.
at this point, I'm doing my combo and I'm looking at his burst meter. I'm like, okay, it's gonna fill up.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I go for my standard like K-ball stuff, but I go for this route instead, which is the like kind of the first route you learn
Mhm.
that goes into close slash. If you play me a lot, you'll notice that a lot of times I go for jump S, jump D, which launches you if it hits, and it's the reason I go for that route is it does a lot more damage. But the problem is it's not very burst safe.
Right.
But
And close slash is very burst safe.
yeah, you can jump. So like basically I was like, okay, like I like see that he's about to go burst. I have a very strong feeling he's gonna burst now, right? Because he doesn't want to hold this corner mix versus like Venom. Like so I will go for the burst safe route. Like and in this case, like I definitely like actually did react. It was like a prime reaction, but you can see it was a pretty late jump to like Ivy.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like because it was this, I was confident I could get a good combo. So get like a decent combo into good knockdown. Alright,
I like that
that-
you explained when you checked burst, right? Because this is something I'm trying to work more on my burst baits, and one of the things I'm really bad at is paying attention to their burst meter or knowing when to check the burst meter before deciding to do something that's burst safe or not, right? So that was helpful for me. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, like a lot of times I just take the burst because I don't mind.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You're like,
It's
oh
better to
no,
be bait, but,
you're
like,
at full
as-
screen. Like,
yeah, as Venom, I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. I have to play neutral again. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like against most characters, like fine, sure,
Yep.
that's fine. I don't mind it.
Mhm.
But in this case, it's like, I was like, I think it's worth the risk to like do this, and like I'm doing it in a way where it's like somewhat reactable. It's not like
Yep.
I'm just like gambling, like hard reading the burst bait. I'm like, okay, I'm like primed for it. If he doesn't burst, I can just do my normal combo.
yeah, no, I'm into it. Cool.
Let me go back. Where the hell? Okay, there we go. Okay, so the second thing is, let me go back. Oops. Why is this not scrolling back?
There we go.
Oops. Oh no.
What did you do? Oh,
I'm
all right.
trying to play it. Okay. Okay, so afterwards I do this, which is a K-ball variant, which is it beats Blitz and it beats it beats Blitz, it beats DP or beats Johnny Super because you can low profile it.
Got it.
So normally with these hits, when you do this, it can be dangerous because they can like IB the ball and throw you, but the second ball extends the hit stun enough that you're both Blitz safe and they cannot throw you. The danger here is that Zwei could have done what he did in other earlier in the set, which is you tap Blitz and then you throw. Because usually if you want to beat Blitz, you do some Blitz safe thing. They Blitz, it doesn't reject you, you land low.
Yeah.
Like either 2D or something, right?
Yeah.
So he could have done that. But I was willing to gamble on that he wasn't going to do that for like basically a couple reasons. One is he just got his burst baited.
Yeah.
So I think he's a little frustrated, and you would go for an easier option because
Yeah, he has enough meter to
do-
dead angle or something like that. Blitz is
right,
a
like
little
dead angle is
scarier, yeah.
easy. You like it's easy to do dead angle.
Yep.
Right? You just block and you hit forward in 2 buttons. Doing tap Blitz, you have to do reversal Blitz, then you have to input throw. It's a lot harder to get that right.
Yep.
So I was basically gambling on that and ended up working out here.
Hey.
Dead angle. Yeah, it's dead angle save. It doesn't
Yep.
mean everyone's dead angle, but that one was dead angle save.
Yeah. I was a little bit late on the 6B there, but that's okay.
All right, now we're back to neutral. Set a
Yep.
ball.
Just not trying to commit too much.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna explain this one. So I did not react to the ball killing the coin, but this is basically just kind of it's like mini set play. This is a good situation. The reason for this is that Johnny is tall. He's one of the few characters that gets hit by that's S ball, but it's the same height as K ball roughly.
Okay.
So I'm basically my mindset here is that I'm trying to retreat. I'm trying to retreat and I'm covering my retreat. Let me see if I go back to it. So yeah, I'm trying to cover my retreat with the ball. So like if he tries to jump to chase me, the ball will get him. I noticed that he's standing at least, right?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't move forward. So I'm okay. Now I can move forward. And the reason for this is that K-ball JP hit like that is really good against air opponents, but Johnny is tall. So the problem is he actually gets hit standing by that. Most characters, they can, if they stand, it will just go over them. They can't jump. But Johnny's tall, so I run in and I'm like, okay, like because he's tall and he's Johnny, I can run in and take my turn. Doesn't matter that I clashed with the coin. It just ended up working out there. But the main thing was that I was relying on the ball either stuffing him or like locking him down so I could pressure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He has some options, but he basically has to do like 2D or something. Like 2S might have worked, but any sort of standing button, the ball would have traded and it probably would have been a neutral situation.
Okay. And obviously with health being where it is and the game count, like he has to do something, right? He can't keep on taking trades. He can't even really let himself get pushed out. He's like kind of committed to this, you know?
Right. Okay. Keep going. Okay.
The ball cover.
Okay. I get the hit. I don't go for like corner carry stuff because it's kind of dicey on Johnny. I need to work out that. But so one thing is I could have like, I think someone Wilton was looking at this and he was asking why I didn't do H-Dub and Morbid. So one thing, actually this is a tip for Venom players. God, please go. Beginner Venom players, which is use S-Dub and Morbid or H-Dub and Morbid if you just need a couple hits to kill them. It's actually really good for that. But the problem is at that distance, I wasn't confident that would hit. I thought it would just like it would whiff and I would be recovering in front of Johnny and then he would throw me and my life would be over. So I was like, okay, I'll just play it safe. And then I do K-Balky, which is not playing it safe. So this is the thing I alluded to earlier. No. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll go for my mix-up, right? I'll just do the low thing. But so I was ready. He did the right thing, which is he blitzed and he threw me.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I should have like, I did actually represent the answer to that early in the set, but he did not. Like, I only represented once, so I didn't know if he had to answer to it. I should have either one went for that, and it would have worked out here, or two, which is something that, or the other thing, which is better, which is what Wilson pointed out to me, was why the hell are you going in?
Right.
Like, in this case, this is one of the downsides of K-Ball, right? I'm in his face.
Yep.
I could have just set balls and zoned, but I was like, oh, I'll just get the mix and, you know, I'll get the hit and win.
Yep.
Nope. Disaster begins.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm getting mixed. Or I got mixed by that.
I swear to God, if I see a first dark angel.
Here, I luckily guessed right that he was going to throw me. And then I up back in JH and I win the round.
Masterful. That's a masterful up back JH to win the round.
Was that a reaction? Hell no. I was committing to the up back. I was like, no, I don't want to get thrown.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think you had one more clip on deck, so we'll run that one real quick. This is, let's see, 206. Yes, you picked one against my ass. Good.
Yeah, I didn't realize the clips. I was like, I'll just pick one with Pat in it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, so I picked this clip mostly for like, because I thought the offensive decision making was good in this clip, and I wanted to explain like what was going through my mind.
All right, so we will open this up in just a second.
Well, this clip that we just showed, not the one that we're going up next.
Got it.
That one's just fun times.
All right. Here we go. So after I get that cool guy pose, finishing with the Gamma Blade. Now we're here. Oh, just immediately run into some shit.
Yep.
K-Ball, don't
So
block
that's
it.
Chip being weird. Yeah, it happens sometimes. I wasn't ready for the 2D. Drop in combos. So actually, I'll pause that. So that one's tricky. So Venom kind of has like two ranges of like combos. So like throw combos. So he has mid range, and then he has like near, like in corner, and then he kind of has like nearish but not in corner.
Yeah.
And the problem was I was trying to do an in corner combo with that one, and I had probably had to do a different route. I thought you were close enough, but yeah, that is one of the annoying things. You do have to kind of mind the distances, like because the straight up mid screen one might work, but like a lot of those rely on them having to travel halfway across the screen and then come back. So when you're closer to the corner, you don't have as much time.
Okay, interesting. I have not paid enough attention to Venom throw combos to realize that he had drastically different routes based on screen position. That's good to know.
Yeah, there's certain ones that work. So to be fair, there's certain ones that basically work at all distances that I could have gone for, but that one is basically not optimal in most situations. Like maybe like the weird one. It's just like the one that you go for. It's like, okay, I need the knockdown.
Gotcha. God damn. 14 seconds in, I'm already super low on health. Oh.
Like I'm like motherfucking.
Oh yeah, get lucky here. Can't get the knockdown though.
You
Okay.
you did
Oh,
not
yeah.
you did not stuff a single teleport so far, but you did react to the leaf grab, so good shit.
And then I died for it. When I died for it, I took the hit. Yeah, actually, I need to work on like dealing with Leaf because like, yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It's like either the air throw thing or like backdashing it. Like a well-timed backdash is looking more and more enticing because a lot of times I'll jump out a Leaf throw like that and I'll just get 6 speed.
Yep.
Like I should probably focus on running away or something, but maybe those other options like seem better. They just are harder, right? You have to actually time them.
Yeah. I mean, you could be like CT and just fucking air throw me out of every single one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Here's
What?
here's like a right here. So
No.
here I'm like I don't believe your thing's real. So wake
Yeah.
up close slash. You already know. So one thing about Venom that people don't know, might not know, is that his confirms off close slash are standing or crouching dependent. So you have to do a different route depending on if they're crouching or standing. If they're standing, you let the third hit rock and you launch them. If they're crouching, you have to go into Q5. A lot of times I do the right route fine because I'm doing a mix-up. So if I hit you with a low air dash, 99% of the chance, there's 99% chance that you're crouching, right?
Yeah.
And if the other way, like if I hit you with a land low, like a 2D or 2K, you're probably
Standing, yep.
I can do those routes.
Yep.
In this case, I was not confident that I could react within 2 hits.
Sure.
Even though there's counter hit, right? I wasn't ready for the counter hit. So I just went for the simplest knockdown, which is 2D.
Makes sense.
Like guaranteed knockdown.
Yeah, and I'm pretty low in health, so you just get a mix from here. I'm probably dead. Okay.
Yep.
Guaranteed first point.
Ah!
I charge blitz. It works out. YOLO charge blitz. The only note I have to say to this is I noticed this positioning here, and I was like, okay, even with a minimum run, I'm going to cross him up. So that's why I was ready to do that. I could have done so. Actually, there's another point there. I could have done a better route.
Yeah.
The Oki was missed because you were so close. So that's another problem with that Oki. It's like usually I do a slightly different route because it's off anti-air and the ball will actually hit you meaty. But because you're so close, it went past. But I could either done a harder route that leads to a better knockdown. That one's hard. Or as Wilson pointed out to me, I could have just gone for an air combo that didn't lead knockdown.
Right.
I generally don't think about that because basically the name of the game with Venom a lot of times is you want to get the knockdown because then you can run your cheap Oki.
Right.
But in this case, it would have just killed. Like if I had just double jumped and done a couple more hits, it would have been over.
Yep.
But I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's that's not on your mind at all because you never go for that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I should. The funny thing is, I used to have this issue with doing H Stobed Morbid after 2D to get the kill. I didn't do that, but then I started doing it. So now this is basically like step 2 of that.
It always looks so ridiculous when you do that too, but it works. It takes forever, and Venom looks like an idiot with his fucking stick spinning, and he just like somehow slides across the fucking screen.
Yeah,
and then slash.
H Stobed Morbid it's very situational. Like I use it sometimes to call people jumping out. So if they block like a far slash at like max range or something, they're like, oh, okay, I can get out. I can jump away.
Yeah.
If I think they're gonna do that, sometimes I'll do H Stobed Morbid. Usually when they're low health.
Yeah.
It's not really worth the risk in my mind if they have more health because you don't get a knockdown. You never get a knockdown off H Stobed Morbid. Even if it like counter hits the first hit, like and they're planted on the ground, you can always tech. Always. So it's not worth going for in those situations, but if it's gonna kill, it's worth.
Yeah, if it's gonna win you the round, then fucking do it. That's a takeaway that everyone should have. If you can choose between getting Sweet Oki and winning the round, take the round. Getting the pin and winning the round, win the round. Right? Set ball doesn't matter. You're just gonna win the round. Just fucking win the round. Just do it.
Just win the round. It's the best decision, right? Like. You know,
Just win.
If you have the choice.
God damn.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and I think that's all I have on that.
Sick.
Clip.
Well, thank you so much, Bondrin. This is a dope ass time, and hands down the smoothest possible way that doing this stream with another person for the first time could go. So thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hell
it's
yeah.
a good service to do for like all the Exert players, right? Like not just like the people in NorCal or the people in SoCal. Like it's just hopefully this is a good resource for like, you know, anyone who's trying to play or like learn Exert or improve an Exert.
That's fucking right, y'all. Play some
I
Guilty Gear
I
Exit
definitely am
Rev2.
not like an end all be all of Venom, but hopefully there's some useful advice there.
Yeah, but we got you on here, and then in like a month or so we'll get Hirsch in here, and he'll just tell me why all your shit is fucked up, and actually what you should be doing is K-ball Oki all the time. Blah blah. Blah.
No, good, having good. No, dude.
Yeah, I'm.
That'd be funny because Hirsch doesn't cable.
I know he doesn't.
No, it actually will be very good to see different perspectives.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, shout outs one more time to Takeahnase, aka Takeahnase, aka Take That Hennessy, aka NorCal #1 Best.